Ah, my kin, my cohorts in shadow and scheming, gather close, gather around the eerie, malevolent glow of the warpstone that illuminates our assembly beneath the sewers of a city of Sigmar. Yes, yes, let not the filth and muck deter you, for it is within such places that our true power, our destiny, is nurtured and blooms like the most virulent of plagues. I, Squeakrit, your guide and chronicler through the annals of our glorious and infamous past, extend to you an invitation most intriguing. Join me beneath the stone and steel of the Man-Thing's cities as we convene under the baleful gleam of our most precious warpstone. Here, in the seclusion of the underbelly of their civilization, we will share the tales of our kind, the Skaven, as the 4th edition of the Age of Sigmar dawns upon us. Fear not the squalor of these tunnels, for they are the arteries through which the lifeblood of our empire flows. It is here, amidst the echoes of our countless feet and the whispers of our plots and plans, that we thrive. The time of the Skaven is upon us, an era where our machinations will finally come to fruition, where the surface world will tremble at the mere mention of our name. As we huddle around the green glow, let it remind you of the power that runs through our veins, the power that corrupts and conquers, that destroys and rebuilds in our image. This warpstone, our gift and curse, is the key to our ascendancy, the beacon that guides our endless war against the surface. Let me regale you with the history of our race, from the depths of Skaven blight to the farthest corners of the Under Empire, from our greatest triumphs to our most ignominious defeats. Hear of the great clans of Pestilence, Scryer, Molder, Eshin, and the ruling might of the Council of 13. Learn of our endless wars, our betrayals, and our unquenchable thirst for power. But let this not merely be a recounting of past glories and ancient grudges. No, my brethren, for as the 4th edition of the Age of Sigmar unfolds, so too does our story. We stand on the cusp of a new chapter, a time ripe with potential for conquest and domination. Our enemies are many, but our resolve is unbreakable, our cunning unmatched. So I beckon you, join me in the gloom of these sewers, and let us plot the downfall of the surface together. Subscribe to our cause, like the fervor that fuels our endless machinations, and stay tuned as we usher in the Age of the Skaven, an era where all will kneel before the might of the great horned rat. Do not mind the filth, for it is from the depths that we will rise, from the shadows that we will strike. The 4th edition of the Age of Sigmar is ours for the taking, and take it we shall, with claw and fang and warpstone. Yes, yes, the time of the Skaven is now. Ah, yes, let me weave you the tale of our kind, the Skaven, and how we've scurried and schemed through the ages beneath the very feet of the surface dwellers. Our story is not written in the stone or the stars, but in the shadows and the whispers of the Under Empire. We, Skaven, we don't linger on the past. No, no. For what use is yesterday's tailbite when today's backstab awaits? We live for the now, for the moment when we will ascend from the depths and claim the world above as rightfully ours, under the all-seeing eye of the great horned rat. Ah, but you see, individual glory, yes, yes, that we cherish. A Skaven remembers his rise to power, the rivals crushed under paw, but forget the dead and gone, for jealousy runs deep in our veins, deeper than the darkest tunnel. The surface dwellers, they try, oh, how they try to piece together our history, to understand the ununderstandable. They fail, of course, of course. How could they comprehend the complexities of our existence when they deny our very presence beneath their cities, labeling those who dare speak of us as mad or heretics? Such foolishness, it only serves to shield us, to protect our plans from prying eyes until the time is ripe for our great ascendancy. Our origins. Ah, now there's a tale shrouded in mystery, even to us. Some whisper we are the children of the Beastmen, others that we are rats uplifted by the dark magics of the world. But what matters it where we came from, when our destiny is so clear, so glorious? The world will be ours, for the horned rat has promised, and we, his children, will stop at nothing to see his will done. Ah, but let us not forget the folly of man, who denies our existence, believing themselves safe from the terrors that lurk below. Little do they know, their disbelief is our greatest weapon, allowing us to grow, to plan, to wait until the moment is right to swarm over their world in a tide of fur and fang. For in the end, all will fall before the might of the Skaven, and the great horned rat shall reign supreme over all. So listen well, for these tales are not just stories, but warnings, a prelude to the inevitable rise of the Skaven. We are everywhere and nowhere, and when the time comes, the surface will be ours. Yes, yes, all will tremble before the might of the Under Empire. Dwarfs and beseeched their help. The Longbeards were unconcerned. What matter a little rain on the surface? They grumbled from the safety of their stone halls, deep in the earth where it was warm and dry. Now the manlings huddled in their dwellings, fear gnawing at their hearts. Some ventured far, seeking aid, but none returned. Desperate, they sought solace in the temple, offering what little they had left to appease the gods. But the temple doors were shut, sealed against them as if to mock their plight. As the storms raged fiercer, hailstones black as night smashed the sodden crops, the very earth seeming to reject the people who tended it. Great stones fell from the heavens, crushing homes, spreading despair. Sickness took hold, a malaise with no cause save the cursed rain, twisting the newborn and taking the strong in their prime. The scant stores of corn were devoured by skulking vermin, bolder now than ever, as hunger began to bite. In desperation, the manlings turned again to the dwarfs, demanding shelter, demanding aid. But the dwarfs, hoarding their dwindling supplies, turned them away. Our halls are flooded, our stores are dwindled to scraps. We have barely enough for our own, they said, and the doors to their under-mountain realms were shut tight. Above, in the once great city, each day was deadlier than the last. The manlings, driven to despair, whispered dark names, hoping for a savior, but finding none. The vermin grew bold, their numbers uncountable, feasting on the fallen, pulling down the weak. The bell tolled each midnight, a triumphant sound now, as if heralding the doom that had come to the city. In their final act of defiance, the manlings armed themselves, determined to breach the dwarfs' stronghold, to drag them out into the calamity they shared. But they found the halls empty, the dwarfs gone, devoured by the very rats that now turned their countless gleaming eyes towards the remnants of humanity. Back to back, the manlings fought, but against such number, such ferocity, their efforts were in vain. The tide of vermin overwhelmed them, their screams lost beneath the ceaseless chittering of the horde. So was born the Skaven, in darkness and ruin, from the ashes of Kavzar. The city, once a pinnacle of cooperation between man and dwarf, was now the first stone in the vast empire of the Under Empire, a monument to the Skaven's rise from the shadows. The doom of Kavzar, a tale of warning, became a tale of origin for us, the children of the Horned Rat, marked by the tolling of the 13 strikes that brought the world of man to its knees. Such is the tale, passed down through whispers and shivers, a story of our beginning, shrouded in the mystery and darkness from which we came. And as the world above remains blissfully ignorant, we grow, we scheme, and we wait. For the bell will toll again, and this time it will herald not our beginning, but our ascension. Yes, yes, all will cower, for the Skaven will rise, and the great horned rat will reign supreme over the ruins of the surface world. Ah, the continuation of the dark and twisted tale, the doom of Kavzar, also known amongst the man-things as the Curse of 13. A story, a warning, a beginning of us, the Skaven, the true rulers of the dark. The manlings, in their desperation, turned to the dwarfs. Those stout-hearted miners and craftsmen burrowed deep within the earth. But the dwarfs, oh, they cared not for the plight of those above. What matter a little rain on the surface? They scoffed, safe in their halls of stone. But the manlings, fear gnawing at their hearts, found no succor, no aid, for the dwarfs too had been besieged, not by the storm, but by us, the vermin, the true inheritors of the deep. The rain, a deluge like none before, became a harbinger of doom, with hailstones smashing the life out of the crops, the very sustenance of the manlings. Great stones fell from the heavens, a sign of the world's end, as sickness and famine took hold. The dwarfs, those bearded recluses, turned the manlings away, their own halls invaded by the relentless tide of our kin, their stores devoured, their defenses breached. And so the manlings, those pitiful creatures, faced the inevitable. Their prayers unanswered, their hopes crushed, they found themselves besieged not by a storm, but by a force far more ferocious, far more cunning. Us, the Skaven, emerged from the shadows, from the cracks and crevices, our numbers uncountable, our appetites insatiable. In a final act of desperation, the manlings sought to confront the dwarfs, to demand refuge within the earth's bosom. But what they found was not salvation, but desolation. The dwarfs, once proud and mighty, were no more than bones and scraps, a feast for our brethren. And as the manlings descended, their torches casting long shadows, they too became prey, hunted in the very halls they sought refuge in. There, in the dark, surrounded by countless gleaming eyes, they made their last stand. But what hope had they against such numbers, such ferocity? The verminous horde, our ancestors, surged forth, a tide of fur and fang, overwhelming the manlings, silencing their screams with our chittering laughter. Such was the fate of Kavzar, a testament to our rise, a tale of our coming to be. Translated from the ancient Thailand, it serves as a reminder of the power of the Skaven, of the inevitability of our dominion. For we are the children of the horned rat, and all shall fall before us, just as Kavzar did. And so, let this tale be a warning, a prophecy, for the same fate awaits the world above. The bell tolls for all, and when it strikes 13, it will herald not doom, but our great ascendancy. Yes, yes, prepare yourselves, man-things, for the Skaven tide is rising, and none shall escape our reach. Ah, let me tell you of the grand calamity, the rise and fall of Skavenblight, our dark jewel beneath the earth, the heart of the Under-Empire, and the throne of the Council of 13. This tale, oh yes, yes, is one of ambition, power, and catastrophic folly that reshaped the very world. In the darkest depths of history, before even the mighty Sigmar had risen to unite the man-things above, Skavenblight thrived in turmoil and darkness. From the ruins of a city not meant for the likes of fur and claw, the first true Skaven clawed their way from the earth's belly. Starvation, disease, and ceaseless conflict gnawed at our numbers, yet, paradoxically, spurred our growth and cunning. The dens of Skavenblight swelled, teeming with life, desperate to survive, to dominate, to evolve. The world above was deemed too perilous, too hostile for our kind to venture forth. Oh, but the ambition of Skaven knows no bounds, no fear. The sorcerers, those wielders of dark and diabolical magics, conceived a grand scheme. Why brave the dangers of the surface when one could carve out an empire beneath it? Warpstone, that most precious and treacherous of materials, was gathered in vast quantities. It was to be the heart of a machine, a device of such power that it would rend the earth, creating a dominion below for the Skaven alone. Deep beneath the twisted spires of Skavenblight, the ritual commenced. The air crackled with arcane energy, the earth trembled in anticipation, and the great bell tower, that ominous herald of Skaven might, tolled as if marking the dawn of a new age. The power amassed was beyond comprehension, ready to reshape the world in our image. But hubris, the downfall of the great and mighty, struck hard. The machine, for all its ingenious design, was flawed. At the moment of culmination, it failed spectacularly. A cataclysm unleashed, not the birth of an empire, but a disaster. Magical energies, wild and uncontrollable, ravaged Skavenblight. The land itself rebelled, heaving and splitting asunder, as if the very world sought to rid itself of the Skaven blight. The devastation did not confine itself to Skavenblight alone. It spread, a wave of destruction that reshaped continents. Mountains crumbled, seas stormed beyond their bounds, and the earth bled fire. The dwarfs, those stubborn denizens of the deep, watched in horror as their realm, the everlasting realm, was torn asunder. The time of woes, they named it, a time of suffering and loss that echoed through the ages. So was born the tale of Skavenblight's rise and near fall, a testament to Skaven ingenuity and its price. Yet from disaster, we learned, we adapted. The Under-Empire grew, not in spite of the catastrophe, but because of it. For in the darkness we thrive, in calamity we find opportunity. And so the bell tolls on, not as a eulogy, but a battle cry. For we are Skaven, born of disaster, destined to conquer all. Yes, yes, let the surface dwellers tremble, for our time is coming, and the world will know the might of the Under-Empire. Ah, the tale twines and twists back upon itself, echoing the calamity, the monumental folly that birthed an era of darkness and ascendance for Skavenblight, our heart of shadows, our nexus of might beneath the world. Let me, Squeakrit, the unseen scribe, delve deeper into the shadows of this tale, a tale of ambition that tore the very fabric of the earth asunder. In the age before Sigmar, the god-king of man-things, Skavenblight was already a festering wound upon the world, a burgeoning empire of filth and treachery. We, the children of the horned rat, clawed at the roots of the world, seeking, always seeking. Warpstone, our lifeblood, our curse, called to us from the dark, and we answered. Oh, how we answered. The sorcerers, those architects of our ruin and our glory, conceived a plan of such audacity, such madness, that it could only have sprung from the minds of the Skaven. An empire beneath the earth, spanning the endless dark, a realm unchallenged, ruled by the Council of 13. To this end, they gathered Warpstone, the heart of chaos, the essence of mutation and power, and they began their work beneath Skavenblight. The city itself, a labyrinth of ruin and decay, throbbed with the pulse of unchecked sorcery as the ritual commenced. The machine, a contraption of gears and arcane energies, began to draw the power of the Warpstone, channeling it towards a singular, catastrophic purpose. The bell tower, that sentinel of doom, tolled, marking the moments towards our ascension or our doom. But ambition, oh ambition, it blinds even the most cunning of us. The machine, in its moment of greatest need, faltered. The energies unleashed were uncontrollable, a maelstrom of power that no sorcery could tame. Skavenblight trembled, the ground itself rebelling against the affront of our hubris. And then, catastrophe. The world tore open, the very bones of the earth shattering under the strain. Skavenblight sank, a city drowning in its own folly, as flames and destruction swept through its streets. But the devastation did not end with us. No, it spread, a wave of ruin that washed over the old world. Mountains crumbled, seas raged, and the lands of the dwarfs, those eternal enemies, were laid low. This was the time of woes, remembered in whispers and shudders, a testament to the danger of our own ambition. Yet, from the ashes of this disaster, Skavenblight rose once more, a testament to the indomitable will of the Skaven. For even in our lowest moment, we saw opportunity, a chance to burrow deeper, to spread further. So, remember this tale, for it is ours. A tale of rise and fall, of ambition that shook the world. But it is also a tale of resilience, of survival. For we are Skaven, and no matter the depths to which we sink, we always claw our way back, hungry for more. Yes, the world shall one day tremble before us once again, and Skavenblight, our heart of darkness, shall beat stronger than ever. Ah, the War of Cripple Peak, a tale of ambition, treachery, and the endless thirst for Warpstone that drives us, the Skaven, to the brink of annihilation and back. Let this scribe's quill dance to the rhythm of war drums as I recount the saga that unfolded in the shadows of history. Nagash, the great necromancer, hoarded Warpstone beneath the peak, a treasure so vast it could fuel our dark sorceries beyond imagining. Yet, it was not to be claimed without contest. The Council of 13, in their infinite wisdom and insatiable greed, unified our scattered hordes into a singular, devastating force. From the dark tunnels that vein the earth, we surged forth, a tide of malice and cunning aimed at the heart of Nagashizar. But oh, the folly of underestimating the dead. Nagash's legions were endless, his power unfathomable. Our kin fell only to rise again, their will enslaved to his dark magics. The battle raged, a relentless maelstrom of violence that shook the very foundations of the mountain. Yet for all our numbers, for all our ferocity, we could not break him. The stalemate bled us, a war of attrition we could ill afford. In desperation, the council turned to Clan Scryer, the architects of our most diabolical engines of war. Yet even their ingenuity was thwarted by Nagash's might, their machines stilled as if mere toys before his sorcerous power. The war dragged on, a century-long quagmire that threatened to consume us all. But, as always, Skaven cunning finds a way. An envoy from Nagash proposed a pact, a truce born of mutual necessity. The Warpstone was ours, but at a price. We would aid him, a thought that chafed, but necessity makes allies of even the most bitter foes. The council, ever pragmatic, agreed, though our treachery ran deep as we sought to undermine the pact even as we honored it. The alliance was fraught, a dance on the edge of a knife. We played our part, luring orc tribes into the cursed pit, even as we sought to claim all the Warpstone for ourselves. But Nagash, his ambitions were not ours to fathom. His gaze turned outward, to a conquest that threatened the very world. The council, for once united in fear, realized the dire portent of his plans. A spell to enslave the world, to turn it into a realm of death. We could not allow it. In secrecy, we forged a weapon, a blade of pure Warpstone, cursed with our deadliest magics. The Fellblade, it was called, and it was to be our salvation or our doom. The human king, broken but unbowed, became our unlikely champion. Guided by our will, he struck at Nagash, a blow that shattered the necromancer, ending his threat for a time. But victory came at a cost. The king, consumed by the Fellblade's curse, vanished into legend, his fate a whisper on the wind. In the aftermath, we claimed Cripple Peak, renamed it Fortress Rykik, and from its depths mined Warpstone in quantities beyond reckoning. Clan Rykik rose in power, their influence spreading like a shadow across the Under Empire. So ended the War of Cripple Peak, a chapter in our history marked by blood, treachery, and the ever-present lure of Warpstone. It is a tale that reminds us of our strength, our cunning, and the depths to which we will sink to achieve our ends. For we are Skaven, and the world shall yet tremble before our might. Yes, yes, let the surface dwellers whisper our tales in fear, for we are the darkness beneath their feet, and our time is coming. Ah, the War of Eight Peaks, a saga of darkness and despair, where the relentless tide of Skaven ingenuity and ferocity clashed with the stoic, unyielding might of the dwarfs of Karaz Angkor. Let me, Squeakrit, the scribe of shadows, recount the tale of this monumental conflict that echoes through the annals of our history. The dwarfs, those proud stone-born warriors of the mountain, had never known a foe as pervasive and as tenacious as the Skaven. It was beneath the ancient, hallowed halls of Karak Eight Peaks that one of the most bitter and prolonged struggles of our time would unfold. Our kind, the children of the Horned Rat, had discovered the Underway, the dwarfs' own creation, and turned it against them. A network of tunnels that was once the pride of the Dwarfen realms became the conduit of their doom. As the Greenskins harried them from above, we struck from below, a two-front war that saw the dwarfs' domain crumble piece by piece. Settlements fell, strongholds were besieged, and the underbelly of the Dwarfen kingdom was riddled with the infestation of our clans. Yet, Karak Eight Peaks stood defiant, a jewel in the crown of the Dwarfen realms, a stronghold believed impregnable. The dwarfs fought with valor and unmatched skill. Ironbreakers held the narrow passageways, their resolve unbreakable. Marksmen and artillery turned the tunnels into death traps for the invaders. Yet, for all their might, the dwarfs could not stem the verminous tide that was us. The Council of 13, in their unmatched cunning, devised a plan of war that spanned generations but promised absolute victory. Poison filled the veins of the mountain, Warpstone corrupted its heart, and Clan Skryra's diabolical war machines breached even the mightiest defenses. The air itself became our weapon, as poisoned wind globes claimed the lives of countless dwarfs, their Gromril armor offering no protection against the toxic miasma. After centuries of relentless war, the dwarfs' will was broken, their numbers dwindled, and the once mighty Karak Eight Peaks fell to us. A victory, yes, but one that heralded a new era of endless conflict. For the dwarfs, unlike any foe they had faced before, we were Legion, an unending swarm that knew neither mercy nor respite. And so, the war continued, evolving with each bloody chapter. The dwarfs retreated, guarding their remaining strongholds with rune-etched doors and vigilant eyes, knowing that beneath their feet, we waited. Warfare beneath the world became a deadly dance of siege engines and guerrilla strikes, of bravery and betrayal. Karak Eight Peaks was but the beginning. The everlasting realm of the dwarfs, a fortress of stone and steel, began to falter under our assault and that of the Greenskins. Strongholds fell, mines were lost, and the darkness beneath the mountains grew ever deeper. This, then, is the tale of the War of Eight Peaks, a testament to our might and a warning to those who would stand against us. For we are the Skaven, the inevitable tide, the shadow beneath. And as the dwarfs learn to their sorrow, there is no stronghold we cannot breach, no enemy we cannot overcome. So let the surface world tremble, for our conquests are far from over, and the tales of our victories will echo in the darkness forevermore. Yes, yes, the Skaven will rise, and all will fall before us. Ah, the first Skaven Civil War, a tale of intrigue, plague, and betrayal that tore through the very heart of the Under Empire, stretching from the sun-scorched sands of Araby to the damp, death-filled jungles of Lustria, and back to the dark, dank tunnels beneath the world. As Squeakrit, the unseen scribe, it falls to me to recount this tumultuous chapter in our history, where brother turned against brother, and the air was thick with the scent of treachery. The seeds of discord were sown long before, when a clan, long forgotten by the Council of 13, ventured into the wilds of Lustria. There, amidst the towering temple cities of the Lizardmen, they found not only glory in the name of the Horned Rat, but a malaise so potent, so virulent, that it threatened to consume them whole. From the brink of extinction, from the very maw of death itself, Clan Pestilens was born, forged in the crucible of disease, dedicated to the worship of pestilence. Their return to the Under Empire was heralded not with joyous reunions, but with demands and ultimatums. Lord Nurglik, their plague-ridden leader, sought a seat upon the Council of 13, a claim that was met with scorn and violence. The emissaries of pestilence were slain, their rotting corpses a message to all who would challenge the Council's supremacy. But Clan Pestilence was not so easily dissuaded. With biological warfare, they struck at the heart of Skaven blight, their poxes and plagues decimating clan after clan. The Under Empire was riven asunder, its once united front crumbling under the weight of internal strife. The civil war that followed was a maelstrom of chaos, a whirlwind of death that spared none. As the war raged, news came of Cripple Peak's fall, not to Skaven, but to the resurrected Nagash, a blow that shook the council to its core. Yet, in their desperation, they found indifference, choosing to abandon the mountain rather than face the great necromancer once more. The stalemate that ensued was a testament to our resilience, our unwillingness to yield. The Under Empire was a battlefield, its tunnels and chambers stained with the blood of countless Skaven. But it was the shadowy return of Clan Eshin, the silent killers, the masters of murder, that would turn the tide. Their allegiance to the Council of 13 brought with it the edge needed to cut down the leaders of the insurrection, to sow doubt and fear among Pestilens' ranks. Lord Nurglik, cornered and desperate, played his final card, a vial of yellow skull fever, a threat so dire that the Council was forced to parley. It was in the shadowed halls of Skavenblight that Nurglik faced his fate, a trial by combat that would determine his place within the Under Empire. With cunning and venom, he secured his victory, his place upon the council, and for Clan Pestilence, a seat at the table of power. Thus ended the First Skaven Civil War, not with a whimper, but with a snarl, a promise of vengeance that would echo through the ages. For in the dark, in the filth and the shadow, we thrive, we scheme, and we remember. The Under Empire, for all its division, for all its endless conflict, remains united in its purpose, its devotion to the Horned Rat, its eternal quest for dominion over all. So let this tale serve as a reminder, a warning, to those who would stand against us, who would dare to defy the will of the Skaven. We are legion, we are cunning, and we are inevitable. Yes, yes, the world will be ours, and the tales of our victories will be told in whispers of fear and awe forevermore. Ah, my fellow denizens of darkness, as we draw the veil upon the tumultuous tales of civil strife and clandestine warfare within our own ranks, let us not forget that the endless warpath of the Skaven knows no bounds, nor does it know the mercy for those that stand against us. I, Squeakrit, the unseen scribe, have chronicled these sagas of betrayal and bloodshed, of pestilence and power, but let it be known that the saga does not end here. Nay, it is but a prelude to the cacophony of chaos that awaits in the shadows of our future conquests. Hearken to my words, for the next chapter in our eternal quest for dominance beckons. The Great Skaven Wars, a time when the Under Empire, rejuvenated and more ferocious than ever, set its sights on the surface once more. With the might of Clan Pestilens' plagues and the silent blades of Clan Eshin, we brought the mighty empire of man to its knees, infecting their cities with despair and their hearts with fear. Imagine, if you will, a Skaven army, vast and unstoppable, descending upon an imperial city, its flames reflecting in our countless eyes as we emerge from the shadows to claim what is rightfully ours. The surface dwellers, weakened by our cunning and crushed beneath our numbers, could only watch in horror as their civilization crumbled before them. But as with all tales of ambition and conquest, the path to victory is fraught with peril and unforeseen challenges. The very plagues we wielded with such impunity turned against us, thinning our ranks and sowing discord among our hordes. And from the ashes of despair, a hero arose among the man-things, rallying their scattered forces for a final desperate stand against our might. Will the Skaven tide be stemmed by the blade of a human? Or will the ingenious machinations of the Council of 13 prevail, crushing all resistance beneath our paws? What dark alliances will be forged in the shadows, and what betrayals will fracture the unity of our kind? These questions and more will be answered in the next episode of our Chronicles. So I bid you, my brethren of shadow and deceit, to come by next time. Lend me your ears, your hearts, and your insatiable hunger for dominance as we delve deeper into the great Skaven wars. Like and subscribe to the Lore Ipsum Lore channel, where the tales of treachery and triumph never cease, and the saga of the Skaven continues to unfold. Until then, let the surface dwellers tremble, let the Under-Empire scheme, and let all know that the Skaven will rise, again and again, for we are the Endless Horde, the Whisper in the Darkness, the architects of the world's downfall. Yes, yes, until next time, keep your blades sharp, your plots cunning, and your ambition unquelled.